Hi, welcome back to Indigo Smokes Turn Astrology. I'm Indigo. I go by Indigo for the purpose of this channel. I don't feel like I'm Indigo in this video. I feel like I'm more of myself, Alexis, but whatever. Anyways, this video is not going to be about tarot or astrology. This is going to be about Black is King, Beyonce's, her debut visual album. And basically there's a lot of spiritual symbolism and metaphysical code that is in that video, and I know that a lot of people are going to overlook the spiritual meaning and the coded message that is in Black is King. I know that a lot of people are going to demonize it due to lack of understanding, and so I'm just going to basically decode and explain the symbolism of Black is King, my interpretation of it. A lot of what I'm going to say you can find if you do your own research. There's going to be some science in here. There's going to be some metaphysics in here. I'm going to be talking about African spirituality in this video because Black is King talks a lot about African spirituality. It's incorporated into Beyonce's perspective in her art. She herself is a part of the Yoruba religion. So I'm just going to elaborate on that. And as a disclaimer, this video is not for those who are closed-minded. This video is not for those who are willfully ignorant. This video is not for people who are so overly religious that they refute science, and this is also not for people who are so overly religious that they are not open to hearing other people's perspectives, okay? Like I said, most of what I'm going to say here, you can verify that it's true if you do your own research, but this is just my interpretation and what I immediately gathered when I watched Black is King. I had to watch it a second time so that I could write everything down and also write my interpretation and perspective of it. So that is essentially what this is going to be about. Like I said before, Black is King, it's full of light codes and energy activation, and I'm just going to elaborate on all of that because I feel like it was very symbolic and it was a very strong message for melanated people. And because I think it's going to be demonized by a lot of people or misunderstood, I just want this to be out there, in the ethers. So like I said, if you're curious, if you're open-minded, if you're spiritually aware, spiritually curious, if you watched Black is King and it struck a chord with you and maybe you don't understand why, maybe this video will shed some light on that. But other than that, let's just get into the video, okay? Now, I wrote down the quotes, I wrote down some of the visuals, and I'm going to decode that as well. So I'm just going to start from the very, very beginning, okay? So it's not going to be as organized, like some of it's going to go in order of the, the songs and the visuals as you see it when you watch Black is King, but some of it's not. Mind you, these are just notes that I have taken. But anyways, Black is King, it starts off viewing the water. You see Beyonce in white on the shore of the ocean carrying a baby. It's very significant. That's very much Yemiya energy. Yemiya is an Orisha from African traditional spirituality. She governs the ocean, and that's going to be a reoccurring theme throughout all of Black is King, okay? So, keywords. There is a quote, and I'm going to make sure that I'm looking at the right side. Okay, so I started off with, you're going to see an image in Black is King where Beyonce has horns. There's going to be another girl in it that has horns, but I don't know her name, okay? Cow horns, cow horns. They represent pride, they represent beauty, they represent balance, individuality, being headstrong. They represent strength, they represent power, they represent dignity, divinity, warrior. Also, I don't know if I said it, I literally have 11 pages of notes here, so this video may be 2 parts, just because I want to record as much as I can before the sun sets. But anyways, that is what cow horns mean. Horns in general in that video, it has nothing to do with being demonic. It has nothing to do with being evil. Those horns, you can look back into ancient Kemet, look at Hathor. She had horns, cow horns, and that is what it represents: fertility, pride, beauty, balance, strength. So don't let the whole devil horn thing cloud your judgment of what it means in this context, okay? one of the verses, or a part of the lyrics that Beyonce says, she says, "Born celestial." Okay, celestial, I'm sure most of us know what it means, but just to be thorough, celestial means extraterrestrial, it means divine, it means godlike, it means the heavens relating to the sky, the stars, things of that nature. And there is at least one or two visuals where you see a black boy and a black man ascending into the heavens, ascending into the lights, and that is very symbolic for, as far as melanated people, we have celestial DNA, and I'm gonna go a little bit deeper into that. You can also do your own research on that because I'm not making it up. But remember that celestial, yes, it means the heavens, yes, it means godlike and divine, but it also means extraterrestrial, and it is not a coincidence that she chose to say celestial in her video. Furthermore, she also mentions being covered in dark matter. She's holding a baby, and she says, I forgot to write this part down, but she says covered in dark matter. Dark matter is a form of matter that accounts for at least 85% of matter in the universe. It's a scientific fact. You can go and verify it for yourself. Dark matter is a form of matter that accounts for 85% of the matter in the universe, composed of particles that don't absorb, reflect, or emit light, thus cannot be detected by observing electromagnetic radiation. It's known factually to exist because because of the effect it has on objects that can be observed directly. It's the most mysterious non-interacting substance in the universe, yet its gravitational effects are crucial to explain the rotation of galaxies. Without dark matter, the universe would likely not have any sign of life at all. She also says coils in hair that absorb prayers. That's a part of Beyonce's verse. Coils in hair, ethnic hair types, curly hair types, wavy hair types, hair of melanated people, black and brown people. It acts as it has an emphasized, I think I want to say it that way. Ethnic hair types, hair of melanated people, acts as an energetic or spiritual antenna. You can look at various cultures, Native American, African, yogic traditions, Jewish traditions. Hair has a very strong spiritual significance and spiritual power. And you can even go to the Bible and see, I believe Samson, he lost his hair. When he lost his hair, he lost his strength. His hair was in locks, and Delilah cut it off, and he lost his power. So there's a lot of spiritual significance in your hair, and she's, pointing that out, and she's also pointing out the fact that melanated people, our hair rises to the heavens. That has spiritual significance. Okay, it connects us to all that is. That is its spiritual significance. Like I said, I wrote a lot of notes here, so I'm going to be looking down a lot. Anyways, I felt like she pointed that out because for so long, melanated people and our hairstyles have been banned and shunned in a lot of more politically correct or European environments, work environments, school environments. They have given us a lot of backlash for the way that melanated people naturally wear our hair and the way that our hair naturally grows out of our scalp. It's been shunned and it's been deemed something that's not proper, not appropriate for professional or business-like settings. And I do believe that she incorporated that into the verse to point that out, as well as to point out the spiritual significance of our hair. Once again, look into Native American, African American culture specifically, but you can also look into Jewish, yogic. Pretty much all traditions touch on some level the significance spiritually of hair. So look into that for yourself. Also, hair, it protects our crown. It protects our crown chakra. It represents strength. Like I said before, in yogic traditions, they believe that preserving the hair increases vitality and tranquility. It helps your overall chi. Native American culture has been known to only cut their hair when mourning or grieving. There's a lot of spirituality that is involved in that. Another quote from Beyonce in her in Black is King is she says, "Let black be synonymous with glory." Okay, glory means honor. It means eminence. It means prestige, majesty, splendor. Being black, being melanated is something to be valued. It's something to be treated as a blessing, not as something that, once again, in Western society and culture, it's been demonized. And a lot of melanated people, minorities, we get stereotyped because of our skin color, because of our hair, because of the way that we naturally are. And basically she's saying renounce all of that and realize that being melanated has a very strong spiritual significance, and it's not something to be ashamed of or played down. It's something to be embraced and taken pride in. She also says, you are the living word, referring to the baby that she has in her hand, aka living word. You are the living altar, the living shrine. You are the divinity. No book, no word is more sacred than your own soul, the own energy that you carry. If you make books and words more important or significant over what you innately are, you're lost. It's a misplace of power to put all of your power and all of your faith in a book and none of it in yourself and who you are. Historically, there has been so much done to keep black and brown people down, and you need to question why. Colonizers and those who created systematic oppression for minorities, they seen our light, they seen our divinity, they seen our glory, and that is why they fought tooth and nail, and they continue to fight tooth and nail to break us, to kill us off, to kill our spirit, because they see the greatness that a lot of us don't see within ourselves. She says a lot of times, so throughout Black is King, you're going to hear remember who you are a lot. You're going to hear you are the remedy a lot. You're going to hear that we're part of something way bigger. You're going to hear all of those things over and over and over and over again, and that is not by chance. Pay attention to that, okay? You're part of something way bigger. We are bigger than the picture they framed us to. We are bigger than the picture they framed for us and painted of us. So once again, pointing to the fact that in Western society and in the systems that we were born into, there is a lot of demonizing of black and brown people. We are so much more divine and glorious than what they have shown us to be. We're more than just our bodies, we're more than just our hair, we're more than just our culture. All of those things together make us this amazing, just make us amazing, okay? I want to make sure I got all of that. So, and this is a direct quote. It says, bigger than the picture they framed us to see. Now we see, it ain't no secret. Understand the question in your soul. Look up, not down. Watch the answers unfold. Life is your birthright. They hit that in the fine print. Take the pen and rewrite it. Step out of your estimate. Step into your essence. Know that you're excellent. Rise. The spirit is teaching. I'm not just preaching. I'm taking my own advice. So what I took that to mean, even for me, I personally, it automatically made sense for me. But I understand that people are at different levels of their spiritual journey and their life journey. So there's things are always open to interpretation. But what I got from that is, step out of your estimate, step out of the box that we have been placed in. You are more than what you think you are. Step into your essence, step into your soul, step into your purpose, step into your divinity, step into your ancestral birthright. When Africans were brought over here, our language, our culture, our religion, our spirituality was stolen from us, and Christianity was beat into us and shoved down our throats. And the energetic and spiritual shift that we're going through right now is kind of beckoning a lot of us black and brown people to return to our roots, return to what they stole from us, reclaim who we are, do your research, know your history, and act and behave accordingly. Know that you're excellent. Rise. The spirit is teaching. I'm not just preaching. I'm taking my own advice. Pretty self-explanatory. Beyonce, like I said before, she is a child of Oshun. She is initiated into Ifa, or the Yoruba tradition. She is a practitioner of African spirituality, hence why it is in her art. She carries the energy of Oshun, and you're going to see that's why she wears so much yellow. Not just in this, she also does that in what was it called, Lemonade? That was kind of her debut in saying that she's a child of Oshun. But another thing, we are way more than what we've been told and shown that we are on a soul level. Black and brown people, we know this, which is why that's what has kept us going. The fact that at a soul level, we know that we are bigger than the environment that we've been put in and the things that we've been given. We know that we're more than that. That's why, melanated people, we have so much strength, we have so much resilience in spite of all the odds, in spite of all the obstacles, in spite of the systematic oppression. We're still here, we're still thriving, we're still amazing, and it's time to fully step into that. Where am I in my notes? Oh, also, she's not just doing Black is King. It's not just art, okay? It's more than art. It's more than entertainment. It's a spiritual message. It is her spiritual testimony. And it is her gift to melanated people, okay? She's walking the talk, hence why she took the time to put such a message and make such a sacrifice and put so much energy into this message. And when you watch it, you'll realize that she has gone all over the world to do this, okay? That takes time, it takes sacrifice, and it's not just for art. It's spiritual, it's a testimony, it's a message that she wants people to take note of. Let me see, where am I? Okay, so another quote from it, forgiveness is key because we're fighting something way bigger. This is referring to the fact that we, once again, are in a spiritual, energetic shift. This is a spiritual warfare. It's about knowing yourself. It's about being connected to your roots. It's about doing what is right for you, following your soul. And if you don't do that, things can be harder. You can be lost, okay? Know who you are. Know where you come from. Reclaim your ancestral ways and your strength. Quit acting in the way that you've been indoctrinated and programmed to act. Think for yourself, okay? Seek your own answers. Another quote, pass on the fruit that was given to me. Legacy, we're a part of something way bigger. She's passing on what she knows through her art. Hence what I'm interpreting right now. Her art, especially in regards to Black is King, it is her testimony, okay? She has come out in the past couple of years through her art, standing up for Black people, standing up for melanated people, standing up for her spiritual practices, because Black people have been trained to think, Black and brown people have been trained to think that our spiritual practices are demonic and they're not Christian-like. But the thing is that our spiritual practices existed long before Christianity did, okay? I speak more on that in my previous video, the New Age to Jesus. There's a little bit more on that, but this kind of is that video is kind of a segue into this one, so you can go and look at that one if it interests you. But once again, think for yourself, do your own research, find out who you are, where you come from. If you don't know your history, you don't know where you're going, and you're destined to repeat your mistakes. And that is a direct segue into another quote from Black is King. History is your future. One day you will meet yourself back where you started, but stronger. Let love be the water I pour into you, you pour into me. There ain't no drought here. Bloom into our actual powers. The great kings were here before us, ancient masters of celestial lore. My interpretation of this is, once again, you can't know where you're going or who you are if you don't know your history and where you've been. Life is cyclical. We evolve in a spiral. We don't evolve in a linear fashion. And what I mean by that is that as we grow, we revisit certain places and themes and situations, but we're not the same as the last time that we encountered those things. We're different, we're stronger. Thus, as we grow, we revisit where we've been, but we're not the same as we were prior. Building on what we were in past time and space, and this may be a little bit controversial, spiritually, time and space are an illusion. We live in a hologram. Science is talking about this. Science can prove this via quantum physics or quantum mechanics. We live in a quantum reality, okay? That is what I mean when I say it's not linear. Time and space don't exist because it's quantum, it's holographic, it's a hologram, okay? Once again, this is science. You really can't argue with science. You can try. It doesn't really do anything, but everything that I'm saying right here specifically can be backed up with your own research. So I'm not here to trigger anybody negatively, but I am here to just provide clarity on what I feel she was trying to convey in her message. Also, back to the forgiveness is key and knowing who you are, and no longer acting in the way you've been indoctrinated and programmed to act. The notes that I wanted to include for that is 2020. I also did a video on what 2020 means spiritually, significantly, astrologically. I think I even did a tarot reading on it a couple of months ago. So 2020, the veil is gone. The spiritual veil, the energetic veil is gone. It has been lifted. We are seeing so much truth come out. We're seeing so much things behind the scenes that are being shown right in front of our eyes. So many things that have gone on behind scenes are so obvious now, especially if you pay attention, especially if you do your research, especially if you fact check what certain sources tell you. Okay, check out Pizzagate, check out of the shadows. Okay, those are keywords, those are documentaries that can give you more insight into what I'm saying. Yeah, okay. Pizzagate, Out of the Shadows, that will kind of explain how the government, CIA, is involved in the entertainment industry and the influence that they wield over our minds through entertainment and through politics. Okay, so there's that. And my goodness, that's just page 1 and 2. Here we go. So page 3. Okay, so this particular part, the song, the video, it goes into a quote that Mufasa. So you hear him. He says, "Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. The ancient masters and ancestors look down on us and guide us from those stars." Whenever you feel alone, those kings will always be up there to guide you, and so will I. Okay, so as we know, this is Mufasa talking to Simba, but it is included for a reason, for a spiritually coded message and reason. When you feel alone, remember who you are, where you came from, and that your ancestors are always with you. He's telling Simba to remember that his ancestors, his king, divine, royal ancestors are with him, and that Mufasa, even when he passes over, he's still with Simba. That is very significant in African spirituality. Our ancestors never leave us. It's not demonic. It's not anything of what has been portrayed in Hollywood or in Christianity. Our ancestors live on through us, through our blood, through our DNA. They are with us every single step of the way. There is no need to feel alone. That is why we need to re-embrace our truth, our roots, our spirituality. Okay, so that when after Mufasa says that, there's a I believe there's a visual where you see a black boy shown as a shooting star through the cosmos coming to Earth, aka my interpretation of this is he's an ancestor reincarnating onto Earth with his celestial, extraterrestrial, divine DNA. We have the same melanin and stardust and carbon within us that the actual cosmos have. Okay, we as people are literally made of stardust. Scientific fact. Verify it yourself. She also says that you are the living word. Oh, I think I already decoded that. Your living word. Oh, sorry, I have another interpretation for that. That's why I said it twice. So the word. Actually, I want to say something else before I get into that, because I'm going to kind of get off topic. So another quote: "Find your way back. Don't let this life drive you crazy. Look up at the stars. It's been a long time, but remember who you are. Big world, but you got it." That's from one of her songs. I think it's "Find Your Way Back." AKA, so my interpretation of that is come home to yourself. Come home to your roots. Don't let this man-made system, don't let systematic oppression, this society drive you, us melanated folk, black and brown people, don't let it drive you crazy and confuse you and knock you off of your A game and make you forget and lose your heritage. We've been dealing with the BS from Western society and the systematic oppression and deception for a very long time. Hence why she said it's been a long time, but remember who you are. Yes, we've been through all of that. Yes, some of us are still going through that. We're going through a transition period right now, but there's going to be a shift. Okay, there's going to be more melanated people embracing who they really are, embracing their culture, embracing their roots without feeling demonized or like they're sinning. Yeah, there's that. So, where else? Okay, so back to the "you are the living word." Okay, so the original language wasn't words, it was sound. Okay, that's where you get Om from. That is why mantras, including Om, have such a strong impact when they're used, because sound was the original language, frequency, and vibration of the universe. The universe was created from sound and vibration. That's unnecessary information. I'm not even going to say that. So, the frequency of love, the vibration into matter, the crystalline structure of eumelanin, and the light body that absorbs light. The frequency, vibration of source of all, the great I am, vibrates into a physical state of matter called crystalline. Then it manifests to absorb light, which is direct communication with source. So people, you'll hear a lot in the new age community about light bodies. Basically, melanated folk, people who have melanin, black and brown people, we already are the light bodies through our melanin. Okay, because our melanin absorbs light, transmutes light, and the transmutation of that light, the light comes from the sun, the heavens. We're conduits for that. That is what makes us divine. That is what makes us light bodies. That is what makes us Christos beings, anointed beings. Okay, what you think Christianity means, what we've been told that it means, is not what it means. Once again, there's a lot of spiritual and metaphysical meaning in Christianity. The anointed ones are the ones, it's the melanin. Okay, those who have melanin have that light body energy. We already have it. It's already there. But that's not something that Western society and religion would want us to know and embrace. Hence why life is the way that it is. I hope that makes sense. If that is something that maybe I didn't explain well, there's a science to it. Ashera Star Goddess, she breaks it down in better detail. I don't want to go too much further into that because it's already going to be a long video most likely. So go look at Ashera Star Goddess. She talks a lot about dark matter. She talks a lot about melanin, Christos beings, and what that all means, what it means to have melanin. Okay. So, the next point, I'll get into that later. Once again, our bodies are made of stardust. When you see that boy is shooting shooting through the cosmos and landing onto Earth, once again, that's talking about reincarnation. It's talking about his celestial DNA, being extraterrestrial of sorts, having royalty in him, and that melanin is what enables him to basically reincarnate, because there is more dark matter in the universe than anything, and that includes melanin. Okay, once again, I'm not going to go into further explanation. Look up Ashera Star Goddess. I want to get back on track. But anyways, the original word, aka sound of God, is the frequency that forms eumelanin, which has a crystalline structure, which is what the light bodies are. Melanated folks, that's what it is. So anyways, I'm sure it's going to be controversial for a lot of people and it's going to be misconstrued, but that is definitely and truly not my intention. Okay, so another quote is, you'll see the little boy, he has ran off, and he is going to show up in front of a building, and you're going to hear Beyonce say, life is a set of choices, lead or be led astray, follow your light or lose it. My interpretation, think for yourself, not what you've been told, trained, and programmed to think via politics, religion, the music that you listen to, the political and social regimes that we have been a part of. Doing so can and usually does lead you astray. When you don't think for yourself, you can easily be seduced and manipulated. Your own soul and your own discernment is key, and if you don't use it, you lose it. So hold on, there we go. So you're gonna see, after you hear that quote, life is a set of choices, and you see the little boy run to a white building, You're going to see a black man in a white suit wearing a lot of gold with a yellow snake on his shoulders asking to the little boy, "Who are you?" AKA, are you a leader or a follower? Are you going to claim your kingship? Do you know who you are? Do you even care who you truly are? So, a lot of people think snakes are evil. Spiritually, they're not evil. Honestly, in real life, snakes creep me out. They scare the mess out of me. They make my skin crawl. But I love what they mean spiritually and symbolically. And what snakes and serpents actually mean, they mean knowledge. They mean wisdom, enlightenment, Kundalini energy. You'll also hear a lot about that in the New Age community. You'll also hear a lot about Kundalini in a lot of different spiritual traditions, especially the yogic traditions. Okay, Kundalini energy, that is that's what the serpent is associated with, wisdom and enlightenment. Even in the Bible, that serpent came and it gave Eve the apple that carried wisdom. That's what that was. So it was a matter of, are you going to stay in the Garden of Eden and enjoy all of these treasures, or do you want knowledge? Do you want to be able to think for yourself, or do you just want what you're given? That's what that meant. So once again, the snake is yellow. Yellow snakes symbolize inner guidance, intuition, spiritual aspects of self. Sometimes it can indicate blocked intuition or betrayal of intellectual ability. So once again, back to his question, who are you? Have you given away your power? Are you a leader or are you a follower? Do you think for yourself, or do you just automatically follow what you're told without thinking? Once again, yellow snakes represents enlightenment, higher awareness, knowledge, wisdom. It can represent betrayal or passivity in your life. So are you being passive? Are you betraying yourself? Are you allowing yourself to be betrayed or tricked by others? Who are your sources? Where are you getting your information from? Are you being tricked? Are you being passive? Yellow, that color correlates to, not only does it correlate to the Orisha Oshun, who Beyonce is a child of, but also yellow correlates to the solar plexus, which governs your life force, your will, your confidence, your power. Who and what are you giving your power to? Are you owning your power? Or are you betraying yourself and being passive by giving your power away or not using it? That is what that means. Okay, that is the interpretation that I got when I seen that visual, okay? Also, sometimes snakes, they do mean trickery, but most of the time when you see them, they symbolize knowledge and enlightenment, Kundalini, earth magic, feminine energy, okay? In Haitian and Louisiana voodoo, serpents represent Dambala and is one of the most important of all of the Loa, which is equivalent to Orishas. Different traditions of voodoo, they call the Orishas different things, you know. That's something you have to do your own research on, but basically Loa and Orisha, they're not the same, but the energy is similar. I'm also going to tag someone who is initiated into that religion and can better explain all of that for you. But once again, serpents in African spirituality are not evil. Okay? Okay. Once again, there's a black man. He's in a white suit and he's wearing a lot of gold. I'm gonna tell you why he's wearing white. I'm gonna tell you why he's wearing gold, and there's also gonna be some lyrics in there talking about said gold. So white, throughout the entire Black is King, it's very colorful. Okay, the Orishas are colorful. There is a color that goes with every single Orisha, and there are so many different Orishas, but the core Orishas, it's the basic colors. It's red, it's yellow, it's green, it's blue. Okay, blue is Yemiya, yellow is Oshun, red is Ogun and Shingo. There is Oba and Oya. I believe it's like a purple for Oya, like a purple or like a fuchsia like color. But once again, you can do your own research, and I'm gonna tag someone who gives full detail of that information. But white is associated with Obatala. Okay, he's wearing white. That's representing Obatala, and Obatala represents blessings, healing, peace, purity, protection, leadership. Obatala is the King of Kings. He is King of the white cloth. He's the embodiment of peace, reason, truth, logic, diplomacy. He is the owner of all heads. Okay, in African spirituality, Orishas govern certain people's heads. So like I said, for example, Oshun governs the head of Beyonce, but you can also have, you know, more than one Orisha that, you know, has your head. So it just depends. But that's just an example. Obatala is the owner of all heads, because Obatala is the Orisha that physically molded the human bodies, even though the supreme being called Olorun or Obatala is who breathed life into those bodies. Obatala is the one who created and molded those bodies out of clay. Okay, so Obatala, king of white cloth, king of kings, he is the eldest of all of the Orishas. Okay, even people who are not initiated into African traditional religions, you can give offerings to Obatala because he owns everyone's head. Okay, so he's the creator of mankind. Where was I? Obatala. Anyways, that is why that man is wearing white. That is why he has that yellow snake around his shoulders, and that is why he is asking the little boy, "Who are you?" That is the spiritual meaning of that entire scene, the way that I interpret it. Okay, so once again, that man, as much as he's wearing white, he's also wearing gold. Okay, gold has the spiritual symbolism and significance of enlightenment, wealth, prosperity, divinity, God energy, alchemy, because gold is the highest level or metal that there is. Okay, with alchemy, you know, it goes from lead, goes to gold. Gold is the highest that you get. Spiritually, like I said, that is enlightenment, that is alchemy, that is ascension, spirituality, that is connecting to all that is. Okay, there's also he says the song is "Don't Jealous Me," I think that's what it's called, and he says, "Got too much gold to try on." Okay, what that means, what I took that to mean is when you reach a certain level in your journey, when you reach a certain level of enlightenment, you are not going to waste your time on small, insignificant things. You have better things to do with your time. You're seeking enlightenment. You're being spiritual. You're being in alignment. You don't have time for the BS. You don't have time for the pettiness or the bullshit or the distractions. So, got too much gold to try on. I got more important shit to do. I'm enlightened. I have a mission. I have more important things to do than to do low vibrational things. That's what that got too much gold to try on. That's essentially what I took that to mean. Also, another quote from the song: "Snakes don't swim with monkey, and sheep don't run with lion." Okay, remind you, he has an accent, so he doesn't say monkeys, he doesn't say lions. It's snake don't swim with monkeys, sleep don't run with lions. So what that means is this is so funny to me because I get tongue tied when I'm recording. It's annoying, but after he says sheep don't run with lion, it's "Don't you jealous me, don't you come for me." "Don't you jealous me" means keep your evil eye away from me. I'm protected from your evil eye. Evil eye is when someone's negative energy, someone's jealousy of you can spiritually attack you, with or without their actual intention and effort. Just the fact that maybe someone hates you or is jealous of you can spiritually block you. And so he's saying, "Don't jealous me, keep your evil eye away from me." That gold, that white, protects him from that evil eye energy, from that jealousy, from the negative energy that it is. So that whole quote to me means stick with your tribe. Snake don't swim with monkey, sheep don't run with lion. Stick with your tribe. With those of like mind, of like energy, who have a similar vibration to you, your soul family, your tribe. Those who carry the same wisdom and enlightenment that you have. Do not intermingle with those who are not of the same vibration as you, those who don't have the same spiritual knowledge as you, those who are of a lower vibration than you, because it can bring you down. It can spiritually block you. Don't play yourself by keeping the wrong company. That is essentially what that means. Be where you belong. Okay. You don't see, and for the lack of a better way to put it, because honestly a lot of rich people are criminals. That's kind of how they got rich, but that's besides the point. For example, you're not going to see someone of status hanging with the bum. That's because snakes don't swim with monkey, sheep don't run with lion. Go where you belong. Go with your tribe. Go with people who have your similar energy. Okay, so that is what all of that means. I hope that made sense to you. Okay, that was 3 and 4, and we're at 40 minutes now. Oh my goodness. So that was 4 and 5, and we're on 6 now. So, okay, another quote is, no true king ever dies. Our ancestors hold us from within our own bodies, guiding us through our reflections, light refracted, I'm sorry. AKA, what I took that to mean is energy never dies. Science. It just changes form. Our ancestors live on through us, and they also reincarnate through us. They reincarnate through us because we're their bloodline. They're in our blood, they're in our breath. We see our ancestors every time we look in the mirror because we are them and they are us. Okay? We would not be here if it was not for our ancestors. When we are a reflection of their light and power, hence why she said light refracted. Mind you, our melanin absorbs light. If we're absorbing light, we are light. We are a reflection of that light, of our ancestral light. Light refracted, we are a reflection of our ancestors' light. We are light because our melanin absorbs light, thus making us light because we have the crystalline structured melanin to absorb that light from source, from the universe. Okay. Another quote, you will hear a man say, when all is said and done, I don't know my native tongue. If I can't speak myself, I can't think myself. If I can't think myself, I can't be myself. But if I can't be myself, I will never know me. So, Uncle Sam, tell me this. If I will never know me, how are you? Or how will you? So basically, once again, what I took that to mean is that the system, okay, the systematic oppression, the societal structures of Western society, those who support this system and support it, those who made it and support it, will never tell us, melanated people, who we are and our spiritual significance and the fact that we are spiritual royalty. Nor is it their place to do so. It is our place to reconnect with our roots and to do our own research. Why would the people who oppress us, why would the people who colonize us tell us who we are when they don't like who we are? That doesn't make sense. Your enemy is not going to help you. You have to seek it out for yourself. Okay? They can't tell us who we are because no one knows us better than we know ourselves. They do know some of us. They do know things about us, which is why they try to oppress melanated people, black and brown people, so much. But because we have that truth of our ancestors within us, we will know things if we embrace who we are. We will know things that they will never know because it's in us. What did Nipsey say? It ain't on you, it's in you. That. So you will also hear Beyonce say in her song with Kendrick, and she's also in all white. Okay, that has significance. Obatila, that's what that is. It also represents purity and protection, being protected. In African traditional spiritualities, you wear white to keep you protected from negative energy. You wear white after you take a spiritual bath to keep your aura protected. Okay. That wearing that white, it reflects negative energy away from you, whereas wearing dark colors or black absorbs it. So when you're in a spiritually vulnerable place, you want to wear more white. You don't want to wear dark colors, hence why she's wearing white. She's referring to Obatala. She's referring to being spiritually protected. So in that scene, in that song with Kendrick Lamar, when she's wearing all white, she says, got the Nile running through my body. Nile, like the river in Egypt. Nile literally means river. Okay. Beyonce, once again, is a child of Oshun. She carries Oshun energy. Oshun owns and governs fresh water. Oshun owns and governs honey and bees. Hence Beyonce, the hive. Yeah. So once again, she's saying Nile, river flowing through her body because she's a child of Oshun. Okay. Oshun governs fresh water and rivers. That's what that is the spiritual significance of that particular verse. She also says, look at my natural, I'm so exotic. Darker the berry, sweeter the fruit. Deeper the wounded, deeper the roots. Black and brown people are some of the most wounded and oppressed people historically ever. We are still going through shit that validates me saying that statement. So I don't care what is put in the comments. I'm not taking that statement back. So yeah. She says, look at my natural, I'm so exotic. Darker the berry, sweeter the fruit. Deeper the wounded, deeper the roots. Fountain of youth, I'm drowning in it. So once again, my interpretation: melanated people, we are exotic. There are so many shades of black and brown. There's so many different features and complexions, and we don't even have to be mixed to have an exotic look about us. We're so versatile in the way, in our style, in our culture, in the way that we express ourselves. We have a certain je ne sais quoi. We have a certain divinity that radiates in everything that we do. Whether we're mixed or not, she's saying she's exotic naturally. We're black. We don't need anything extra to be exotic. Okay. So where am I in my notes? Once again, our looks are so versatile and infinite. How is that not exotic? If you go and you look at anybody, you can go and look at a West Indian, anybody who is of melanated, who has melanin and is of that descent. The way that we look, the way that we express ourselves is so versatile, and you can tell that we are exotic because a lot of Western society and entertainment industry, and I'm going to say the Kardashians, they try and steal that same culture that we have. They try to steal that same style that we have. There are so many non-melanated people who appropriate our culture, our looks, our style, and they make money off of it. That is because we are exotic, with or without any kind of being mixed. Okay, not that there's anything wrong with being mixed. It's just that, in me personally, in my own experience, I've had a lot of people ask me, what are you? It's like, I'm black. More than anything, I'm black, but I do have Native American ancestry on both sides of my family. So, but I shouldn't have to say that. You shouldn't look at a black person and be like, what are you mixed with? Because it's not like we can't be beautiful just being black. And that's what I mean by that. There's nothing wrong with being mixed. Technically, I'm mixed due to my ancestry, but that doesn't mean anything. You don't have to be mixed with anything to be exotic and black. Black is beautiful. Melanated is beautiful, no matter what shade that you are. Another thing. Oh, also fountain of youth. Okay, so we already know that melanated people, we age wonderfully. Okay, I don't even need to explain that. You can literally look up hashtags on Instagram, mother and daughter challenges. They look exactly alike. She's 50, her daughter's 20, and you can't even tell who's who. Melanated people, we are drowning in the fountain of youth. You can tell by the way that we age. Okay. Also, okay, where am I in my notes? I'm trying not to get lost here. Okay, so I don't remember which video or intro that this part is in, but you're going to see blackbirds flying, okay, and what that symbolizes. Blackbirds are not evil. Sometimes they do show up symbolically as a warning, as a spiritual warning. They've been demonized in Hollywood movies as well. Generally, when you see blackbirds in films, you'll see that it means a curse or something bad is going to happen. It's not necessarily what it means. They can mean warning, but more than anything, blackbirds, ravens, crows, they symbolize knowledge. They symbolize wisdom. They symbolize spiritual gifts and abilities, spiritual knowledge, and reading between the lines, knowing the truth, following your intuition. Okay, so once again, not evil. There's a symbolic meaning to them. All right. This is gonna be a mouthful. So, I think this is Scar's song. You're gonna see them in the woods, in the jungle. I don't know what this song is called. I'm just gonna call it the Scar song because it's dark and it looks like a jungle. So, you're gonna hear. It's not Beyonce that says this. It's, I don't know her name, but she's rapping and she says, in the jungle ain't no Bible, show time, no recital, show no fear, where's your spinal, where's your backbone, where's your pyro? My interpretation: when shit gets real, and it is right now, ain't no Bible gonna save you. The Bible itself is not going to save you. Once again, you're the living word. Melanated people, you are the living word. It's in you. It's not on you. It's not in a book. It's in you. Okay, Bible's not going to save you. Old rules do not apply. Okay, once again, there's a spiritual energetic shift that is going on. All right, we've been lied to so long about who we really are, and now is the time for us to step into that knowledge and into that power. Our fear can inhibit us. It's time to let that go. Believing what you're told, let that go. Where's your fortitude? Where's your backbone? Where's your gumption? Where's your courage? Where's your code? Do you fight or do you fold? That's how I interpret that. Where's your spinal? Where's your backbone? What do you stand for? Do you stand for yourself? Do you stand for your ancestors? Or do you just fall into whatever, the media tells you. You know, do you trust yourself or do you trust other people? Another quote is same rapper, same video. It says, "I had to be everything you couldn't be for my survival. My own idol slipped my trial. Took my rightful title. No remorse. The sin is final. I found my own disciples. I'm too far gone down this spiral. No white angels, just albinos." Okay, the way that I interpreted that, melanated folk. We have always had to be 10 times as good just to get halfway where Caucasians were, because that's how the system was set up. The system was not set up for minorities, black and brown people. It was set up for white people. And you can't even argue with that. If you do, you're just special. And I don't mean that in a good way. But anyways, melanated folk, we've always had to try 10 times harder, be 10 times better just to get a little bit of what white people have gotten, because that's how they designed it. And instead of where are my notes? Oh, and instead of idolizing others, instead of idolizing them and wanting to be at their table, wanting to be a part of the elite, we need to be our own idols. We need to look to ourselves, look to our history, look to our culture, look to our ancestors. This system and all of its rules were never meant to work for us, and so waiting for them to give us our power back is useless, because they don't want us to have our power. That's why you have to seek it out for yourself and think for yourself. You have to take it, because if it's up to them, you'll never get your power. That's exactly what they want. They want you to be lost. They want you to not know who you are. So once again, take what's rightfully yours with no remorse. Let me go back, because I kind of got backtracked there. It says, she said, took my rightful title, no remorse, the sin is final. So once again, take what's rightfully yours with no remorse. And if that's considered sinful, then that's on them. How is it a sin to take what is yours? It is your birthright. Okay. No white angels equipped. That just means no white Jesus. Okay. If you really do your research, you will realize that Jesus was not white. Sorry, he's not. So basically, no white angels means no white Jesus, just albinos. Albinos, from what I understand, they're not white. They just lack melanin. A lot of the albinos that I've seen, they always have black features. They just lack the melanin. So, yeah. And also no white angels, aka no white Jesus, just albinos. Also, only focus on your tribe, focus on your people, focus on your soul tribe, who you resonated with. Our ancestral ways are the only thing that apply. White Jesus is not. That's not what that's not the wave that we're on. That's not the wave that we're going into. Like I said, those old rules, they don't apply. So yeah. And I think that's about it. So also, Scar represents the shadow side of ourselves, or the shadow side of Simba, but also Scar represents the external adversary. So both of those energies are needed. You need your shadow side, you need external adversaries to challenge you so that you grow. It strengthens your character, okay? You're not going to be a good king or queen if you don't know how to deal with adversary, if you don't know how to deal with enemies, if you don't know how to strategize. So conquering your own shadow and it is essential to being able to conquer external adversaries. And both are needed for ascension, both are needed for character development. That's why you go through a dark night of the soul in your spiritual journey. It evolves you, it strengthens you, it challenges you, it shows you who you really are. You find out who you really are when it's time to fight or fold, basically. Just like Simba needed the love and the light and the wisdom of Mufasa, he also needed, and Mufasa also stands for his ancestors. So Mufasa was his dad, but he also represents the ancestors that came before Mufasa. All right, so just how Simba needed Mufasa and his ancestors and the love, light, and wisdom that he and they were able to give them, Simba also needed the adversary in darkness that was Scar. Scar was crucial in his development. It hurt, it was a betrayal of sorts, but it was necessary for his journey. Okay, duality is needed for balance and growth. Good and evil, dark and light, they're two sides of the same coin. Although the Western society that we're in, they want you to believe otherwise, that there's like this battle, but you need both. If if you don't have one, or if you don't have evil, you don't have good. If you don't have good, you don't have evil. So you need them both. Otherwise, the scales tip. Okay, and too much of anything is not good. If you're too good, you don't have any challenges that are gonna force you to grow, and too much of good is boring. Okay, and if you have too much evil, it's utter destruction. But guess what? If you have just a little bit of both, that yin and yang, you can damn near do anything. So yeah, there's that. I think that's pretty good. So I am going to stop this, and I'm going to do a part 2. Okay. Okay, I'm back. I just know if that video, it was already 55 minutes, it was going to take even longer for it to upload if I didn't stop it. So here we are. All right, so the next part you will hear Timon, or Timon. I don't know how to say his name. I literally haven't watched Lion King in forever, so I'm going to say Timon or Timon. He's going to say, when the world turns its back on you, you turn your back on the world and focus on what's next. Turn the what into so what. And young Simba says, that's not what I was taught. And Timon responds, then maybe you need a new lesson, aka Hakuna Matata, which we already know means no worries, no troubles. Okay, so and that is the intro to Beyonce's song Mood. Okay, what I got from that was once again, melanated people, black people, brown people, we've dealt with so much bullshit from the society that we live in and just the systematic oppression and the deception that we've been subjected to. Essentially, that is the world turning on us. And so, in turn, instead of trying to gain validation and approval and acceptance from that society, from the elite, from those who create and support systematic oppression of melanated people, instead of, vying for their attention or their validation or their approval or their acceptance to eat at their table, what's next? Go do your own thing. You don't need them. Okay. So yeah, that's that's what I got from that. And into the song Mood, you will hear Jay-Z say, you hear that? That's the sound of the price going up forever, ever, and ever, ever. He also says the marathon will be televised for Nip because true kings don't die, we multiply. Once again, ancestry. Energy doesn't die, it just changes form. Also, that was obviously a kudos to Nip. R.I.P. Nip. But also, when he's saying that's the sound of the price going up, once again, melanated people, black and brown, we have been undervalued for so long, and we have been born into a system that has constantly told us that we're not good, that we are a stereotype, that we don't deserve to be able to walk the streets freely without experiencing police brutality, because that's what we were born in, and because that is kind of what is the undercurrent of our experience. Is like, once again, spiritually, energetically, we're shifting into a new vibration, into a new reality, and we don't have to be as subjected and burdened by that anymore, because this is a time for us to re-embrace who we truly are. If we are no longer vying for their affection and to be accepted, by that society and by those rules, we can really thrive. And the sound of the price going up is we're realizing our own value. We're realizing that we don't need the validation or the acceptance or the approval of white society or the system that has been created to oppress us. We don't need it. We can go and create our own table, do our own thing, build our own empire. That's the sound of the price going up. We're realizing our worth. Not that we didn't have worth before, but your price goes up when you realize, oh damn, I'm the shit. Yeah. The price goes up when you become aware of your worth. Not that it was never there, but yeah, if you're a diamond in the rough and you don't realize it, when you finally realize it, automatically you're more valuable, right? Right. So, and I pretty much summarized that one. Once again, you'll also hear Beyonce say that life is a journey, or that the journey is a gift, and that also refers to this is a marathon, not a sprint. Once again, shout out to Nipsey. Jay-Z also says that the revolution is happening. It will be televised, and like I said, the revolution is happening now, and it's being shown For example, through Black is King, but also through other things. If you really pay attention to the symbolism, a lot of celebrities speak in code. The ones who are in the know, they speak in code. I'm not going to go further into that. Once again, that's something that Ashira, Star Goddess, she expounds on, so go look to her if that's something that you want to understand more in depth. But if you pay attention to the things that are going on around you, the things that you're being shown, you know, via song and things like that, songs, videos, artists, the ones, like I said, who know and who want to lift up and show support and solidarity for melanated people, if you pay attention to what they're saying, you can get a lot from it. Hence, they speak in code. It's coded. That's why you can't take things at face value, and that's why you have to think for yourself, okay? Also, in the same song, Mood, you will hear Beyonce say, I'm so unbothered, y'all so pressed while I'm raising daughters, sons of empires. Y'all make me chuckle, stay in your struggle, crystal blue water. So, once again, water. Crystal blue water, fresh water, Oshun, but also crystal blue water that can refer to Yemiya. Either way, it's talking about she's she's in prosperity, she's flowing, she's good, she's guided, she's spiritually protected, she's doing her shit, she's raising her children, she's speaking the same truth and giving these same practices to her children. They're going to grow up knowing where they spiritually come from and the power that they hold. And you know, while she is trying to, you know, pass along the fruit and the legacy that she's been given, she's like, y'all make me laugh because y'all focus on all the wrong shit. Because like I said, a lot of people are going to look at this video and they're going to call it demonic due to their own ignorance. And so she's saying stay in your struggle, because she's not, and she's not going to raise her kids to be in struggle, obviously. Once again, those waters refer to Yemaya and Oshun. Prosperity, flourishing, purity, cleansing, healing, that's what she's on. She's focused on her legacy, and also saying that we should be doing the same thing too. Don't be so focused on hating on her or calling her demonic or getting caught up in the he say she say about her that you don't get the message of what she's saying. And if you want to do that, but stay where you are. Stay in the struggle. Stay on that low vibration. Okay, stay in ignorance if that's what you want to do. But she's not doing that, and she's not advocating doing that. So yeah, there we have that. Once again, I say, quit taking things at face value. The truth is stranger than fiction, and a lot of what we know about society, about the entertainment industry, politics, history, so much of it is lies. You would be shocked. Okay, I'm not even going to go further into that because I don't want the video to be flagged. But it might anyway, because I'm controversial, I suppose, with this video. Anyways, also at the end of the Mood video, you will see people in black and white, dressed in black and white, on a chessboard that is on the grass. They are the chess pieces dressed accordingly on black and white, aka the chessboard. That's the visual. What I also got from that is, don't be a pawn when you can be a king. Okay, and even if you are a pawn can still be used with strategy. Okay, so what I got from that visual is, once again, it's a spiritual war. Okay, it's about stepping into who you really are and owning your truth and not folding when it comes down to it. Spiritual war and life is chess, not checkers. Even pawns can be used strategically. And once again, look deeper and read between the lines. Okay. You're also going to hear Jay say, with this visual of the chessboard, dark and light, duality, balance of good and evil. He says all of this is what you need to make a move. Good and evil often appear together, as nothing is complete on its own. There is an ongoing exchange between dark and light, what we call good and evil. It's not always a battle, it's a conversation. And once again, that's true. They're two sides of the same coin. You need both. And it's not always a battle. Sometimes it's just there's a fluidity in a conversation that's happening. You know, it's not always black and white, this or that. No, you need both. That's what forms a complete picture. They complement each other. Don't be so focused on the good and evil that you miss what's going on, the bigger picture, the fact that the systems that we were born into were designed to divide, conquer, dilute, and instill fear and meekness through politics and religion and entertainment. Let me see my notes. Also, the kings, once again, black is king, melanated people, king. The kings have been pawns. Yeah, the kings have been pawns or turned into pawns for so long that it's like we've forgotten our royalty. We've forgotten who we are. So once again, that's why you're going to hear so much, even though it's a renowned quote from, Lion King, remember who you are. You're going to hear it reiterated throughout that because it's trying to spiritually trigger you. Remember who you are. Remember who you are. Melanated people. You're also going to hear a man say, king is representative of you, of the soul. The king is you. You are the king. Next, my interpretation of that is your soul is king. Okay, your DNA, it makes you royal. Your melanin is synonymous with glory, literally. Why did melanin is more expensive than any metal that is out there. If only you guys knew the truth. My goodness. So melanin is a highly valued commodity amongst the elites. Once again, look into Pizzagate, look into Out of These Shadows. It'll give you a little bit more context to what it is that I'm saying. But if you go and you research all of the missing cases of melanated people, black and brown people going missing, and the ones that are found, sometimes, a lot of the times, you're going to see that their organs are gone. That's because, companies harvest organs, people harvest organs. They want the melanin that's in it. And that's all I'm going to say. Do your own research. But after the chessboard, after Jay-Z talks about dark and light and duality, after you hear the man say that the king is you, you're going to see that the little boy wakes up from his dream, which was the mood, song, and video portion. So the little boy, who is the king, he wakes up from the dream that was mood. And that dream was his ancestors and his future self speaking to him through his dream, through astral travel. Okay, if you look into African spirituality, our ancestors speak to us through our dreams, through astral realm. Okay, and it's not demonic. So there's that. So boy wakes up from dream, astral travel. His older self is in New York. What it looks like he's in New York to me. I think the song is called Watch Out, but I'm not sure. And you hear a man say in that opening scene is that our brothers and sisters are walking around with crowns in their back pockets because of an environment of repression and oppression. I'm going to say that again because I stuttered too much. Our brothers and sisters are walking around with crowns in their back pockets because of an environment of repression. I don't even need to decode that. It's pretty straightforward. I just wanted to include it because it confirms everything that I've been saying thus far. Some of the lyrics are watch out for them hyenas, stay solid like Ogun, stand your ground, which is once again what I've been saying. When they say watch out for hyenas, I'm just like, look around in all the places you go to. Pay attention to who you're around. Once again, pay attention to your sources. Pay attention to the truth about the people who tell you shit. Just pay attention. Especially in regards to the media and the things that you watch. Question everything. Okay? Truth is stranger than fiction. And a lot of what you see is an illusion. Once again, stand your ground and stay solid like Ogun. Ogun is an Orisha the Orisha of iron, war, weapons. He's a blacksmith. He's the protector. He clears the way. He is who you go to for strategy and getting ready for war. So stand your ground, be ready for war if need be. That's what it's about, standing strong in who you are and in your history, in your roots, in your power. There's also another deity. Once again, like I said, you will see all of the colors of the rainbow because there's a color associated with every Orisha. You're going to see a lot of red. That red can be associated with a lot of deities, but strongly between Ogun and Shango, I think they share that color red. But green is also associated with Ogun as well. So just once again, I'll plug in the woman that I follow, the YouTuber that I follow. She is initiated into the religion and she probably elaborates on it more in her videos and in more detail. So that's Ogun. Shango, he governs fire, lightning, thunder, dance, and he's a warrior. So him and Ogun, they're warriors, but Shango has a little bit more charisma in the way that he does things, and he can be a little bit more impulsive, whereas Ogun, if I'm not mistaken, he governs war strategy, so that makes him a little bit different. And I also believe Ogun, he owns the forest, so he's normally segregated from the rest of the world, or isolated, I should say. He's more isolated from the rest of the world because he's not as social as Shango. That's why Shango is more of the charismatic player, people person. He's fiery, he's the dancer, he's also the warrior, but Shango is the husband of Oshun as well. Hyenas represent gossip, enemies, savages. Watch out for the hyenas. Boom, there's that. And I'm gonna stop just because my lips are getting chapped. All this talking, I'm parched too. Let me see where I am in my notes. You're gonna hear not just Beyonce, you're gonna hear like a lot of people in their music talking about diamonds, ice. That has a coded meaning as well. So in this particular context, I think Beyonce says, diamonds on my fist fighting demons, y'all. Girl. Diamonds equal light. Okay, they symbolize light, life, sun, solar energy, which is the sun, strength, clarity, being invincible, having spiritual power, purity, brilliance, being unconquerable. The diamonds are also associated with the crown chakra, intellectual knowledge. Okay, and also diamonds are symbolically, in the context that she's talking about, representing our melanin. Once again, we absorb light. The melanin absorbs light. We are light bodies. We are diamonds. Melanated people have been through the same pressure and turmoil that makes a diamond what it is. So on all levels, we're literally diamonds. Okay, and that is why diamonds can be synonymous to our melanin, dripping, drip. Yeah. Another quote, real kings always win, be your own king, make nobody come, rule your world. Once again, not needing any validation or acceptance from other people, creating that for yourself. You're going to hear a woman also say, you can't wear a crown with your head down. I can't say I believe in God and call myself a child of God and then not see myself as a God. That wouldn't make any sense. She says, also, I wear my Nefertiti chain every day and never take it off. I know my history. I did my research. I am a creator of all things. She says a creator, not the creator, okay? None of this is to say that God doesn't exist and that, God shouldn't be respected. It's just that God is not what the Christian Bible has told us that he or it is. In African traditional spirituality, you don't directly talk to God. You talk to the Orishas who have been put in place by God. God in African traditional religion is he's removed. So yes, he is everything that is. He created it all. He allows it all to exist, but you don't directly go to God. You go to the Orishas because there's an Orisha for every single problem that you could encounter, every single situation, every single energy that you could want to experience or avoid. There's an Orisha that is associated with it, and God put those energies in place. Okay, so just a little bit more about African spirituality. And after you hear the woman say that about believing in God, calling yourself a child of God, and then of course you have to then see yourself as a God. You are, just as an example, your parents created you. You have a little bit of them in you. Does that make you them? No, but it makes you just as valid. God created us all, and because we are aspects of him, it's kind of like the drip in the ocean. No, that little piece of water doesn't amount to the ocean, but it still has that same essence in it. Okay. And you're gonna also hear Beyonce say, you're swimming back to yourself. You will meet yourself at the shore. The coast belongs to our ancestors. We orbit, make joy look easy. Lost languages spill out of our mouths. So once again, when Black people were brought over here, our everything, our language, our culture, our spirituality, everything that we were, everything that we identified with was ripped from us, and we were forced to do what Europeans, Caucasians wanted us to do. And so even though our language is a lost language to us now, we're reclaiming it. And honestly, even if we were to never learn our original language as people of African descent, you can see traces of African spirituality in even people who don't practice it. For example, if you like people in the hood, right, you will always see that You always see black men pouring out liquor for the homies. That's pouring libations. That's African spirituality. Once again, like I said, this is our ancestors within us. Even though the conscious mind doesn't always know why you do what you do, like I said, on a soul level, on a subconscious level, you know. So even though, black people who don't know anything about African spirituality, when they pour liquor out for the homies, that is their ancestors, that are our ancestors in them, that are making them do that. It just because it's lost doesn't mean that we no longer do it. So while it would be nice for us to go back and learn our original language, do know, like I said, that it's in you, it's not on you. Okay. So when she says you're swimming back to yourself and you'll meet yourself at the shore and the coast belongs to our ancestors, the interpretation that I took from that is that the ocean, once again, Yemaya is the ocean. Yemaya governs the ocean, okay? The ocean is a living entity. Whether you want to call it Yemaya or not, whether you associate Yemaya with it or not, the ocean is a living entity. It's another realm. It's another dimension. There are things in the ocean that we will never know about, never see, or that we haven't. We're going into some different times, so maybe we will discover some more things about the ocean. But the ocean is definitely another realm and dimension, okay? And it's also a graveyard. Imagine how many people just in the slave trade alone died in the ocean or jumped into the ocean. I'm going to elaborate just a little bit more on that. So African culture respects Yemaya, aka the ocean, and a lot of African hostages jumped into the ocean, aka Yemaya, thus creating, with that act alone, whether they said a prayer or not, just the fact that the African hostages jumped into Yemaya, aka the ocean, that created a spiritual pact. It strengthened the spiritual connection that we as melanated people have with Yemaya and the ocean. And you can also see with a lot of melanated people, or black people specifically, we have a certain respect / fear of the ocean. Is because it's like on an intuitive and soul level, we know what it's really capable of. That's our ancestors coming through, like, respect the ocean, don't be doing shit you're not supposed to be doing, don't go too far out. Okay, that's an innate respect that a lot of black people have. That fear of water, yes, yes, there's some trauma that being enslaved created, but that's also an ancestral knowing that we carry in regards to water, and the respect or fear that a lot of us carry for it. But anyways, when the African hostages jumped into the ocean, that created, just that act alone created a spiritual pact with Yemaya. It strengthened the connection that we have with her, to be taken care of and to return to her rather than submit to slavery. That was a sacrifice. Nobody actually wants to jump into the ocean. That shit is scary, but it's like they stood for something. They were like, we not doing slavery. We just gonna get into the ocean. Fuck it. That's fortitude. That's sacrifice. And they sacrificed themselves to Yemaya. Thus, the coast belongs to the ancestors. Whew, my goodness, I've been talking. Been talking a lot. Alright, and this is it. And there just might be a goddamn part 3. I don't know. Because I still have at least 4 pages of notes that I haven't even wrote down my interpretation of. So, it might be a mini-series. I don't know. So, the last little part that I'm going to say, after she says that you are swimming back to yourself, you hear a man say that water signifies life, purity, hope, and the ability to be reborn. You see this train of thought, and you see this spiritual practice and philosophy. This is my interpretation. You see this in actually all religions. There is some form of baptism via water. Damn near every religion talks about that, and that is because that is essentially what water does spiritually. It cleanses you, it purifies you. You are essentially reborn. When you are in your mother's womb, you're in water, amniotic fluid, aka. So African spirituality makes the significance of water a staple via spiritual baths and giving offerings to rivers and oceans. Also after that, you will hear Pharrell say, yes, we can make it far. That's what the waves are for. Don't need inflatables. Once again, it's just talking about that spiritual connection that we have to water, and respecting the ocean for what it is, and for the ancestral connection that we as melanated black and brown people have. And this doesn't just refer to black people. This also refers to anybody who is of Hispanic descent. Honestly, Santeria and Voodoo and Lakumi, all of that. I'm not saying that that it's the exact same, but the core message is the same. The way that they go about expressing that is a little bit different from tradition to tradition, but there is an inherent respect that all of those traditions have for the ocean and for the Orishas. And once again, Beyonce, this is her way of saying that us as Black and brown people, we need to embrace that and not feel scared to return to our roots, you know? So my throat is dry, honey, and like I said, there may be a part 3. It's getting dark now, so hopefully this is a good video for somebody. I hope somebody's open, that people are open to this interpretation, but do know that Beyonce had a very strong spiritual intention when she made Black is King, and it goes far beyond entertainment and talking about Lion King. Okay, so once again, I will see you in, I guess, maybe, I don't know if this is going to be part 2 or part 3, but I will see you in the next video. I'm still going to be talking about Black is King, so stay tuned, and I hope that this has been easy for you to follow and that it resonates with you and it makes sense. Maybe if you felt really strongly about Black is King when you watched it but you didn't know why, maybe this can shed some light on that, and I hope that it does. And I hope that it, you know, triggers your curiosity and gives you an open mind and makes you want to go and do research and find out the truth about who you are if you don't already know. Okay, so thank you for watching. I truly appreciate it, and I will see you in my next video.